Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXP and today is the 7th of November 2022 and there is just one day left for the US midterm elections. And what kind of an impact will that have on the price of cryptocurrencies and in the fintech sector as well? Ideally speaking, guys, Bitcoin should be apolitical, but politics and politicians do have a massive impact on the price of cryptocurrencies, the trajectory and the general direction of cryptocurrencies. So in today's episode, I'm very briefly going to be talking about an article by Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal, and I'm going to be sharing what are their thoughts on the impact of midterm elections on cryptocurrencies. And there's a really interesting report which is done by Grayscale Investments that actually talks about that US voters will consider candidates that position themselves in the cryptocurrency industry. So it looks like the midterm elections and cryptocurrencies are definitely going to be merging in 2022. Now, speaking of 2022, it has if not been one of the worst years for cryptocurrencies and DeFi in particular, but one of the leading exchanges in US, that is Coinbase, is facing crypto winter. And they recently released a report. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about what is going on so far as Coinbase is concerned, and if they have made a profit or if they have made a loss of roughly $500 million in the third quarter of 2022. And guys, in 2022, there's World Cup taking place in Qatar, and keeping football or soccer in mind, Solana-based soccer game Monkey League has a new brand ambassador, and that is Paulo Dybala, who's from Argentina. So we'll definitely be ending this particular podcast in some positive news. Now regarding UAE, I have two news. But the first news is ADNOC Group and Siemens Energy have jointly developed a blockchain-based technology, and I'm going to be sharing my opinion and thoughts if that is the right move. And the second news is about Capex.com, and they have received UAE license to offer crypto services. So definitely positive news. And they've got the license from ADGM, that is Abu Dhabi Global Market. So a lot to uncover in today's episode. So welcome everyone, it's A-Team, you're in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And now the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And guys, every Fridays, I do have an episode called Metaverse Everything, where we solely focus on Metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. And the Metaverse Everything podcast, the format is completely different, and I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn profile. So please follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. But before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, the 10th edition of the world-renowned flagship, that is Global Blockchain Congress by Agora Group, is taking place on November 23rd and 24th at Sofitel, Dubai The Palm, and there will be more than 60 speakers, 150 investors, 30 sponsors, and these sponsors offer Metaverse, gaming, NFTs, and DeFi projects looking to raise funds, 20 media partners, and more than 300 delegates. So listen guys, if you're a blockchain startup looking to raise funds, join Agora on this special edition on the Global Blockchain Congress and have a one-to-one meeting with pre-qualified investors. And this edition's main themes are digital assets regulations in the GCC, Web3 platforms, Metaverse, gaming and NFTs. Now remember guys, the spots are limited, so register online via the link in the show notes below, or go to Agora's LinkedIn page, or go to the website. All the details are in the show notes below. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race. And Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's dive into the global crypto market as of 7th of November. Now guys, I'm looking at the price at roughly 1:30 a.m. in the morning, Gulf Standard Time. So it still might be the 6th of November in US, Canada and other parts of the world. So I'm a little bit ahead in looking at the price, particularly for Monday. As of 7th of November, the global cryptocurrency market is a little bit above the $1 trillion mark, and it is at $1.05 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally gone down by 1.05%. So look guys, last week, Jerome Powell did raise the interest rate by 75 basis points, and there was a lot of talks if that is going to have an impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And one thing which I did mention on the episode that was released on the 3rd of November, every time Jerome Powell goes live, the prices of cryptocurrencies tend to remain the same for the next few hours. Once mainstream media tends to add their own narratives, a bit of fake news and misleading information, the market either goes up and down. And in the 3rd of November's podcast, I did talk about how the global cryptocurrency market did go down, but it rose back once again. And over the weekend, looks like the global cryptocurrency market did not have much of an impact. But that being said, the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum have definitely gone up, which we'll be looking at in a bit. And since the last 24 hours though, the global crypto market volume is at $61.42 billion. Now these are really bad numbers, even considering the fact that we are talking about these numbers for a Sunday. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 18.60%. The total volume in DeFi is ridiculously low to $3.70 billion. And as of 7th of November, early morning hours, the total value locked is at $55.72 billion, with MakerDAO accounting for a majority of the chunk at 14.65%, and $8.16 billion is locked in MakerDAO protocol. And DeFi accounts for 6.02% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And guys, what is really surprising but not shocking is the volume of stablecoins. The volume of stablecoins is at $55.55 billion. Now, the reason why I do feel that these numbers are not right is because the global cryptocurrency market is heavily dependent on the volume of stablecoins. And these numbers are ridiculously low. And out of the $55.55 billion, Tether USDT accounts for $47.35 billion, whereas USDC's volume has gone ridiculously low and it is down to $2.18 billion. And Binance USD's volume is at $5.63 billion. And guys, one question which I keep asking quite often is 3 to 5 years down the line, so let's say by the year 2026, which stablecoin platform will be leading the stablecoin race, or will it be Central Bank Digital Currencies? Now, as of today, 7th of November, stablecoin accounts for 90.44% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now guys, one thing which I've been starting since the last month or so is every week I'm trying to look at some new metric. Last week I did look at the top NFT platforms. The week before that I believe I looked at privacy coins and quite a lot more. This week only what I'm going to be looking is the top 3 best performing assets and the top 3 worst performing assets. Now needless to say, a lot of the coins that are in green could be certified as shit coins as well. So please bear with me while I'm giving out this information and do not take this as any investment advice as well. Now since the last 24 hours, there's a protocol called as Prosper, which is up by 62.9%. I have no idea what that protocol is. The second one called Fala Network is up by 54.10% and Goldfinch is up by 46.3%. And the top 3 worst performing sectors in the cryptocurrency space are Steppen, which is down by 29.5%. Now we did talk about Steppen, I believe 2 or 3 months ago, and we discussed if it is a good protocol, and I did share my opinions and how that is connected to fitness and if it is a good idea or not. So guys, go through my library and see through information about Steppen app. Now the second app which has been doing ridiculously bad since the last 24 hours is a protocol called Marinade, and they are down by 19.90%, and Firo is down by 16.80%, and Steppen is down by 29.50%. Now since you've taken care of the top 3 best performing assets and the top 3 worst performing assets, let's look at the market share, 24-hour trading volume, and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And guys, last week, Ethereum did cross the 50% mark of Bitcoin's market share, but this week, looks like Bitcoin is taking the lead, and Bitcoin's market share is well over 50% of that of Ethereum's market share at $406.7 billion, whereas Ethereum's market share is at $196.9 billion. The 24-hour trading volume is at $32.4 billion for Bitcoin, and Ethereum is down to $10.2 billion. And if you look at the dominance, Bitcoin and Ethereum's dominance has been consistent for almost 3 weeks now. Bitcoin's dominance is at 38.80% and Ethereum's dominance is at 18.87%. I'm really curious to see what the reports by Glassnodes and CoinShares tend to publish, because what happens is every Mondays, Glassnode tends to provide a weekly insight of everything that has happened in the previous week. And CoinShares, they tend to do the same thing, and they tend to publish the report via the Medium blog. So on the episode that will release on Tuesday, I'm definitely going to be looking at technical analysis by Glassnode and CoinShares. Now this week guys, I'm also looking at privacy coins. And surprisingly guys, all the privacy coins have gone up. Monero's market cap has gone up and it is currently at $2.87 billion. Zcash market cap has gone up and it is at $814 million. And Decred is at $401 million. And Mask Network last week was at number 5 so far as the market cap of privacy coins is concerned. Today is at number 4 at $346 million. So look guys, if you're into privacy coins, maybe you need to look at Mask Network. Now after this podcast, I'm definitely going to do quite a lot of research on what Mask Network is. And the fifth protocol so far as privacy coin is concerned is Harmony, which is at $259 million as its market cap. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin did shoot up to $21,192. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally down by 0.62%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 2.34%. Ethereum is currently at $1,611. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.22%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 0.91%. Binance Coin has been steady and it is currently at $351. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.36%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 11.95%. And guys, there is some drama going on between Binance Coin and Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX exchange. So most likely on the episode that I have on Tuesday, I'll try to cover some more information regarding CZ of Binance and Sam Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrency exchange. And there are a couple of tweets that are circulating right now that is discussing insolvency of FTX exchange. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be researching thoroughly and I'll be releasing an episode on Tuesday. Now guys, tomorrow, that is 8th of November, the midterm election kicks in and our cryptocurrencies, and blockchain protocol related to midterm elections. Now, in an idealistic and perfect world, Bitcoin should be apolitical, but till we get 100% separation of money and the state, politics and politicians will have a significant impact on the price, the trajectory, and the direction of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. One question which I've asked so many times, and I'm going to ask once again: what side of politics is in favor of Bitcoin, freedom of speech, and open blockchain? And what side of politics is in favor of central bank digital currencies? Mention your thoughts and your comments in the comment section below. And guys, Bloomberg did provide an article that talk about that midterm elections may have big consequences for cryptocurrencies, and crypto enthusiasts may actually welcome Republican majorities in either chamber, as members of the GOP have often been some of the staunchest supporters and may push more aggressively to move bills that many in the industry have been asking for. So go through Bloomberg's article, they do mention some relevant points. And another left-wing media called as Wall Street Journal, their article states that crypto firms and their employees have poured $73 million into the 2022 elections, which is up by $13 million in the 2020 cycle. So looks like politicians are definitely getting into the cryptocurrency space. And the article also has a research, and the research is done by a group called as Open Secrets, which tracks political donation, and they have said the industry also spent $15 million on lobbying in the first 9 months of this year, more than in the previous 8 years combined. So it looks like politics and cryptocurrencies are merging. Now, in an idealistic world, that should not be the case. Bitcoin was created as a moment between separation of money and the state, so it should be hashing algorithm, cryptography, and mathematics that should be deciding the future of money. But it might take at least a couple of decades for that thing to happen. Now, Grayscale Investment, they did provide a report, and they did this report, and they had a survey done by Harris Poll. Now, they only took 2,029 adults, and most of them were about the age of 18. And in that report, they actually felt that 38% of US voters will consider candidates' possession based on the affiliation in cryptocurrencies. And guys, look, when you talk about Bitcoin, open source, freedom of speech, the right-wing politicians or Republicans are generally in favor of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, open blockchain. The left-wing politicians are in favor of central bank digital currencies, and they are not in favor of Bitcoin, open source, freedom of speech, open blockchain, and open source in general. So this particular midterm elections will definitely have a massive impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, what are your price predictions, guys? What happens to the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies after the 8th of November? Mention your thoughts and comments in the comment sections below. And one thing you need to remember and understand, when you talk about price predictions, all price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. The 2022, guys, has not been the best year for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and looks like the crypto winter has just started. In one of the leading exchanges in US called as Coinbase, what happened was that they released a report for the third quarter of 2022, and its revenue is not impressive at all. And the official filings do actually indicate that they dipped by 50% from its last year's value, and this is mostly due to fluctuations in trading activities. And Coinbase have reported that they have lost about $545 million. Now, they have also issued a letter to the shareholder. Now, if you are a shareholder, the link is also mentioned in my LinkedIn profile. You can also listen to them talk. They also have a question and answer session as well. Now, in that letter to the shareholders, they've also mentioned about crypto policy in the US, how it is an inflection point, and also said about how DCCPA, that is Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act, could lead to meaningful regulations and clarity on treatment of digital assets. So it's going to be really crucial how the midterm election turns out to be. Now, if you read through the investor letters, do put up some really good points, and they are definitely in favor of right-wing politicians, and they actually said that the US policy should incentivize crypto market participants to operate in the US, but the policy of regulation by enforcement has the opposite effect. So really critical information, and that's one of the reasons why Coinbase did file a petition directly with SEC in July of 2022, requesting them to create clear rules for digital asset securities market. Now, with these new rules, if they were created, it would address directly when a digital asset is a security or a commodity, and what would happen is it would allow companies like Coinbase to offer a broader range of assets and products. And if that thing happens, US will definitely be taking the lead in the world. Now, meanwhile, other economies such as European Union, Australia, Japan, or even UAE are taking substantial regulatory steps to secure their role as leaders in cryptocurrencies. And particularly, guys, if you look at Dubai and UAE, and last week we also talked about a brilliant move by Dubai Financial Services Authority that did give some regulatory clearance and guidelines. So it looks like Dubai and UAE are definitely taking the lead, are providing support and not stifling innovation. Now, guys, let's talk about a massive news that is going to take place in Qatar and how that is linked to cryptocurrencies. Now, FIFA World Cup does take place in Qatar, and there is massive news about soccer and football. And Paulo Dybala, who's an Argentinian player, is the brand ambassador for Solana-based soccer game called Monkey League. And the collaboration between Monkey League and Dybala will see a range of future NFT releases for in-game assets such as limited edition monkey athletes and stadiums and quite a lot more. And this is one of the most perfect timing to have someone as a brand ambassador, considering the fact that World Cup FIFA 2022 will take place pretty soon and it's going to be talk of the town. Now, guys, let's talk about two news regarding UAE. But before we move on to two crypto and blockchain news regarding UAE, I have two news regarding obstacle course race in UAE. The first news is about Spartan race, and they have a massive event in December, the World Championship. And this is the second time they have the World Championship event in Abu Dhabi. And guys, I have a standalone episode with Spartan Race founder Joe Cena talking about Spartan Race NFT. And Sean, who's the Chief Technology Officer, was also in the podcast. And Calvin, who's one of the OGs in the NFT space, was at the podcast as well. So we discussed from a business point of view, why did Spartan Race decide to go ahead and launch its NFT? What were the challenges and quite a lot more. So please check out those episodes. It is a standalone episode talking more about NFTs and not so much regarding obstacle course race. And the second message is also about obstacle course race and my favorite one, that is Tough Mudder. And listen guys, I'm on a mission to do my 100th Tough Mudder, so check both the messages now. The first message is from Spartan. Now Spartan is a global fitness brand with 10 million strong community. They create transformational events, experiences, products and content to help people, companies and team tear down boundaries and expand what they believe to be possible. From day one, nearly 2 decades ago, they've been champions of human transformation, and they live to help people get outside, eat healthy, and develop habits that lead to a life of constant progress. With families of brands, they push people from every corner of the globe outside the comfort zone and immerse them in a world of tough fitness and elite sports. Now, they do this because you can face and overcome adversity head on, and your potential is limitless. Now, this year in December, in Abu Dhabi, the land of Gazelle, thousands of athletes and spectators will gather at the metropolis in the desert to compete for Spartan immortality. This is a unique opportunity to watch the world's best obstacle course race athletes compete for world championship and have your group conquer the course themselves. The massive event takes place from the 2nd till the 4th of December this year. Now for Spartan World Championship, the ticket details and registration to the programs are mentioned in the links below. Now, if you are into running, if you are into adventure, and if you are in UAE, you definitely need to check this out. And the second news, guys, is about Tough Mudder. Now listen, guys, there are 3 things that I'm extremely passionate about. All 3 of them have some kind of similarity. That is heavy metal, Bitcoin, and obstacle course race. Now we've looked at the premier obstacle course race event, that is Spartan Race, which is taking place between the 2nd and 4th of December. But the next one that I'd like to discuss is Tough Mudder. Now, Tough Mudder is unique, and I did my very first obstacle course race, that was Tough Mudder. And Tough Mudder obstacles are more fun, more adventurous, and it involves a lot of teamwork. And you can also use my promo code, which is George25, for a 25% discount. Now, if you are into running, if you are into adventure, if you are into obstacle course race, you definitely need to sign up for this event. So go to the website toughmudderarabia.com, and you can also follow them on Instagram. The Instagram handle is toughmudderarabia. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's look at 2 news from UAE. The first news is about ADNOC Group and Siemens Energy, and they are jointly developing a blockchain-based technology. And the second news is about Capex.com, which has received UAE license to offer crypto services. So let me give you some information of what ADNOC Group is and what Siemens Energy is. Now, ADNOC Group, called as ADNOC, is the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and ADNOC is the state-owned oil company of the UAE. It is the world's 12th largest company by production. And guys, the website if you want to check is adnoc.ae. That is A for Alpha, D for David, N for November, O for Orange, C for Charlie. Now let me very briefly give you some information of Siemens Energy, and then let me try to explain how the news is connected to blockchain technology. Now, Siemens Energy is an energy company formed by the spin-off of the former gas and power division of Siemens Group, and it includes a 67% share of Siemens Gamesa. So the news is ADNOC and Siemens Energy to jointly develop blockchain technology, and the two companies will explore the digital certification of low-carbon marine crude ammonia and aviation fuels, and they plan to jointly develop blockchain-based technology to certify the carbon intensity of a range of products produced by the state oil company. And as part of the collaboration, the two companies will explore digital certification of ADNOC's low-carbon marine crude ammonia and aviation fuels, and the information will automatically be recorded on a decentralized blockchain ledger. Now, I really am not sure where blockchain technology does actually fit into this, and at this point of time it is unclear if it is done on an open blockchain or if it is done on a centralized blockchain. Now, if they are doing that on an open blockchain, then the idea seems fine, but the use case I really am not sure if you do actually require blockchain technology. Now, let's say if this is a centralized or a permission blockchain, would just software be a better option? What are your thoughts, guys? Mention them in the comments below. Now, one of the representatives from ADNOC has said, such transparency will allow independent regulators to certify the carbon intensity of products. It will also give customers greater confidence and the clarity over the carbon footprint of their purchases. And Al Kindi, who is the Executive Director of People, Technology and Corporate Support Directorate at ADNOC, said, people typically associate blockchain technologies with cryptocurrencies, but the use of decentralized ledgers has significant implications for the energy industry. Now, guys, if you look at blockchain technology, there are very limited use cases. Now, I really am not sure at this point of time how often the certificates are issued. If, let's say, the certificates are issued, let's say, once a day or twice a day, and maybe blockchain technology would be ideal. But what if the certificates are issued, let's say, 100 or 200 times per second? In that case, if you look at the scalability of blockchain protocols, I really am not sure blockchain technology is the way to go. Now, transparency is definitely one of the features of blockchain technology, but that would make sense only if it is built on an open blockchain. So, is ADNOC and Siemens Energy working on an open blockchain, let's say like Ethereum? Then it would make sense. The big question which I have is, what role does the miners or validators play? Do they only upload the transactions, or are they authenticating the transactions? Because if they're authenticating the transactions, then it is not open blockchain. You may as well use a software. So I really want to find out, do miners or validators or authenticators have the ability to decline transactions? Because it is so critical when you talk about blockchain technology to truly understand what double spend is. So by adopting blockchain technology, ADNOC and Siemens Energy, are they preventing any double spend? If they are preventing any double spend and are making the digital certificate, and if they're uploading the certificates directly on a decentralized blockchain, then it would make sense. But other than that, I unfortunately do not see any use case of blockchain technology, but I definitely need to do more research on that. Now, guys, let's talk about the second news, and this is to do with Capex.com. And the news is that they have received UAE license to offer crypto services. So let me try to give out some information. Now, the website, guys, is ae.capex.com. So A for Alpha, E for Elephant, .capex. That is C for Charlie, A for Alpha, P for Peter, E for Elephant, X for X-ray.com. And that is the website for Capex.com. So it's ae.capex.com. Now let me try to give out some information about Capex. Now, Capex is a global brand established in 2016 with the goal of making online trading more accessible and rewarding for people worldwide. And they blend technology with a customer-centered and education-oriented approach to create a true one-of-a-kind trading experience. And guys, one thing which I really found surprising when I went through the website is that they are the official trading partners for Juventus, which is one of the prestigious football clubs in the world. And they're also the official trading partner of Guntoot Racing and Polo Club. And last week, Tough Mudder, they planned to have an event at Guntoot Racing Club, but unfortunately that thing did not materialize. But going back to Capex.com did receive UAE license to offer crypto services by ADGM, that is Abu Dhabi Global Market. Now guys, this is a massive news because the multi-licensed broker Capex.com has received in-principle approval to conduct a full spectrum of virtual asset businesses in Abu Dhabi. And this news was announced by the firm's CEO, Octavian. So what's going to happen is the new license will allow its parent company, that is Kiwi Markets Limited, to bring the Capex.com brand closer to clients in the Middle East with major focus to the UAE. And the in-principle approval for its crypto business comes to complete the picture as the company already holds the ADGM FSRA license to offer traditional financial services, and the milestone helps broaden the perspective and business appraisal of the brand as it keeps to cash in on the region's interest in cryptocurrencies. So definitely brilliant and positive news. And guys, after completing its application process for full licensing, Capex.com will be able to offer its virtual asset services to customers across the Middle East and North Africa region, or also called as MENA region. And under the Emirates Test, Adapt, Scale virtual asset market model, Capex.com will share its in-depth industry knowledge, experience and insights with stakeholders. With over 2,000 tradable instruments, the broker is preparing to expand its multi-assets offering by including DeFi and blockchain-based services. And Capex.com also launched a new product called as Stocks. So it essentially bundles a no-commission trading product with unleveraged fractional CFDs on shares to top US companies. So definitely brilliant news. And guys, to be honest, looks like Dubai and UAE is lately turning out to be a red ocean. It means there is a lot of competition. Now there are two ways of looking at it. If you are a business entity, you have to be here, but there's got to be so much of competition. So the only way you can stand out is by offering better quality and reduced fees. And from a customer's point of view, it just means cheaper services at a much better quality. So definitely brilliant news. So that's all for today, guys, from the Crypto and Coffee Update from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee a Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee a Date works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East, and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. I have a question by Rahul who asks, how do you think the cryptocurrency market would react to midterm elections? Now, Rahul, this is definitely not financial advice. Now, if you've been following the US elections, and if they are done with the right integrity, and if they are done in the right way, then I do think that the Republicans should definitely be winning the midterm elections. And if that thing happens, I have this feeling that the cryptocurrency market would actually go up. Again, Rahul, this is not financial advice, and my price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Now, one thing which I did mention earlier in my podcast is as well, when you talk about politics and politicians, generally speaking, the right-wing politicians or Republicans are in favor of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, keeping that in mind, they do have certain bills that would actually help adopt the usage of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, particularly in the state of Texas and quite a lot of other places. Now, if that thing works with full integrity, then I do feel that the Republicans will be winning the midterm elections or taking majority of the control so far as the Senate is concerned. Now, we won't make this about politics, but that being said, if that thing happens over a period of time, I do think that it would work positively in favor of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And regarding Coinbase, which I talked about earlier, the CEO of Coinbase, that is Brian Armstrong, he did have some political affiliations with Republicans, and he was trying to actually promote Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So most likely it will definitely be beneficial for Coinbase. But that being said, Sam Bankman-Fried, who is an extreme left-wing, he is in support of the left-wing politicians, and needless to say, he's not operating in US, but he did promise to donate over $1 billion for a left-leaning political party. But all of the parties that he actually funded to, they did not win the elections. So what he did, he backed down on his promises, and he did not give them funds as well. And this is the general nature between right-wing and left-wing politicians, or right-wing and left-wing people in general. Now, looks like the 2022 midterm elections would be favoring the right-wing or Republican politicians. And if that thing happens, I do think that it would work out positively over a period of time for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And one question, Raul, which I did ask at the beginning of the episode as well, generally speaking, the right-wing politicians, and even in UK for that matter, conservatives, are not in favor of central bank digital currencies. So it could also temporarily put a brake on central bank digital currencies, which I think in the long run might be a good thing. And I do have a session on the 17th of November where I talk about central bank digital currencies. So I'll make a comparison, let's say, between Bitcoin and central bank digital currencies and quite a lot more. Now, Raul, what I would recommend to do is, on the 8th and after the elections are over, I really am not sure when the results will be out, but keep a track on the volume of Tether USDT, because it really depends on the volume of Tether USDT, how that would determine the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Another thing you may want to look at, Raul, is the volume of another stablecoin, that is USDC. Because last week we did talk about some kind of partnership between Coinbase and USDC as well. Now this might give you some indirect direction on how the price of cryptocurrency market will be impacted with the midterm elections. Now, in an idealistic world, that should not be the case, but maybe once we get full separation between money and the state, then it's going to be only Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Again, Raul, I'm not a politician, I'm not an expert so far as US politics is concerned, but these are again my thoughts and opinions. So that's all for the day, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com that talks everything about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, NFTs, and so far as metaverse is concerned, I do have another website called every2071.com, so please check out those websites as well. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East, in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.